Close your eyes and let your mind drift to the banks of the mighty Nile River. It is the year 1350 BC, during the height of the New Kingdom in ancient Egypt. The land is lush and fertile, nourished by the river's annual floods. Today we journey into a day in the life of Neferu, a high priestess serving in the grand temple of Karnak in Thebes. Let the story of her day lull you into a peaceful, deep sleep. As the first light of dawn touches the horizon, the city of Thebes awakens. The sky is painted in soft shades of pink and gold. Inside the temple complex of Karnak, Neferu stirs from her slumber. She is 38 years old, a high priestess dedicated to the worship of Amun-Ra, the king of the gods. Her chamber is modest but adorned with symbols of her devotion, amulets, small statuettes of deities and lotus flowers. Neferu rises from her bed made of woven reeds and linen. She takes a moment to kneel before a small shrine, offering silent prayers to Amun-Ra. The morning air is cool as she washes her face with water from a clay basin. Today, like every day, she must purify herself before entering the sacred temple grounds. She dons a finely woven linen dress, the fabric smooth and white, a symbol of purity. Around her neck, she wears a necklace of faience beads, each representing the protection of the gods. With her preparations complete, Neferu steps out into the temple courtyard. The temple complex is vast, with towering columns and statues that reach towards the sky. The first rays of sunlight pierce through the columns, casting long shadows on the stone floor. Priests and acolytes move quietly, preparing for the morning rituals. Neferu, as the high priestess, leads these rites, invoking the blessings of Amun-Ra upon the land and its people. Neferu enters the innermost sanctuary of the temple, a place reserved for only the highest of priests and priestesses. The air inside is heavy with the scent of incense. Frankincense and myrrh burn in small bronze censers, their smoke swirling upward in delicate spirals. She stands before the statue of Amun-Ra, a magnificent figure adorned with gold and precious stones, its eyes seemingly watching over all who enter. She begins the ritual, her voice steady and melodic as she chants ancient hymns in honor of the god. The temple walls are inscribed with hieroglyphs, recounting the deeds of the gods and the pharaohs. The priests around her respond in unison, their voices echoing through the sanctuary. Neferu anoints the statue with sacred oils, a gesture meant to bring life and vitality to the god. She offers food and drink, placing baskets of bread, fruits and jars of beer at the statue's feet. These offerings will later be distributed among the temple staff and the needy. The ritual concludes as the sun climbs higher in the sky, its light now flooding the temple. Neferu exits the sanctuary, the stone corridors cool against her bare feet. The morning's rituals are complete, but her day is far from over. With the morning's sacred rituals behind her, Neferu moves to the temple's administrative quarters. The temple is not just a place of worship, it is also the economic heart of Thebes. It manages vast tracts of land, fields of wheat, orchards of date palms and herds of cattle. As High Priestess, Neferu oversees these resources, ensuring that the temple remains a pillar of support for the kingdom. She meets with the temple scribes, who bring her records inscribed on rolls of papyrus. They detail the temple's daily activities, grain harvests, offerings received, and the distribution of food to the priests and the poor. Neferu carefully reviews these records, her gaze steady and thoughtful. She makes decisions on the allocation of resources, ensuring that the temple's wealth is used wisely. The temple not only sustains its staff, but also supports the community, offering food and medicine to those in need. After the administrative work, Neferu steps outside into the temple gardens. Here, surrounded by the tranquil beauty of lotus ponds and sycamore trees, she takes a moment to find peace. She listens to the gentle rustling of the reeds in the breeze and the distant hum of daily life in Thebes. The Nile flows steadily beyond the temple walls, its waters glistening under the midday sun. In the early afternoon, Neferu visits the temple school. Education is an important part of her duties, as she is responsible for training the next generation of priests and priestesses. The school is a quiet courtyard within the temple complex, where young boys and girls sit on reed mats, their faces focused as they listen to their teacher. Neferu joins the lesson, her presence commanding yet kind. She teaches them the sacred texts, the hymns, and the rituals that they must one day perform. She instructs them in the art of writing, guiding their hands as they carve hieroglyphs into small tablets of clay. The students look up to her with a mix of awe and admiration. To them, Neferu is not just a teacher, but a living connection to the divine. As the lesson ends, she blesses each child, placing her hand gently on their heads. They giggle and bow, their eyes filled with curiosity and reverence. Neferu smiles at their youthful energy, reminded of the endless cycle of life that the Egyptians hold sacred. Later in the day, Neferu makes her way to the temple infirmary. The temple is not only a place of worship, but also a center of healing. The priests and priestesses serve as healers, using their knowledge of herbs and spells to treat the sick. Neferu checks on the patients, farmers with ailments from their labor, mothers with their children, travelers seeking relief from their journey. She prepares a poultice of honey, herbs and oils for a farmer suffering from a wound. With gentle hands she applies the mixture, reciting a protective spell to invoke the god's healing power. Her voice is calm and soothing, her movements deliberate and skilled. The infirmary is filled with the scent of incense and the murmur of prayers, a sanctuary of hope and comfort. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the land, Neferu leaves the infirmary. Her duties have been many, yet she feels a deep sense of fulfillment. She has served not only the gods but also her people, offering them care and guidance. As dusk falls over Thebes, the temple is bathed in the soft light of torches and oil lamps. The city grows quiet, the bustling of the day giving way to the tranquility of evening. Neferu gathers with the priests and priestesses for the evening ritual, a simpler ceremony to honor Amun-Ra and bid him a restful night. The ritual is brief, the chants low and rhythmic, as the priests light incense and place offerings before the god's statue. Neferu feels the day's weight lifting from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of peace. The evening air is cool as she steps out into the temple courtyard, looking up at the night sky. The stars begin to appear, sparkling like jewels in the vast expanse above. After the ritual, Neferu retires to her chamber. She lights a small oil lamp, its warm glow filling the room. Sitting by the window, she gazes out at the Nile. The river is calm, reflecting the moon's light. She thinks of the day's events, of the lives she has touched, and the sacred duties she has fulfilled. Neferu lies down on her bed, the linen soft against her skin. She closes her eyes, her mind drifting through the day's memories, the chants in the temple, the laughter of the children, the gentle touch of healing hands. The sounds of the temple fade into the background, replaced by the soft murmur of the river and the distant calls of night birds. The city of Thebes sleeps, cradled in the arms of the Nile. The temple stands in silence, its towering columns casting long shadows under the moonlight. Tonight, as you listen to Neferu's story, let it carry you to a place of peace and stillness. Feel the calm of the ancient world envelop you, guiding you into a deep, restful sleep. Good night.